Okay, this is a Chinese diesel heater. This is actually where you put the 3-inch air duct that comes, the hot air comes out of it. Here's where you fill up the fuel tank with diesel, red diesel. And then here's where it gets its 12-volt battery power from for the controller. Here's the window for how full the fuel tank is, right there. And I'm going to try to control it with the remote control. So I just turned it on with the remote control, and it's starting its startup sequence. So it's actually turned on the glow plug, or actually I should say what it's doing first too is it's exhausting the air out of it. And you can see on the right bottom there, that emblem is showing also that the glow plug is glowing. And then that one on the left on the bottom is showing that the fan is running. And the other one there that's flashing is showing that it's in the startup mode. And currently that P54 is the rate of fuel consumption that it's set at right now, which is the highest. And by the remote or on the screen itself, there's some buttons. You can't see them because it's dark, but I can actually control it down. So going down with the numbers lowers the amount of fuel rate that is fed to the igniter. So I'll go ahead and put it back up to the highest rate. It takes a little bit for the startup mode. You can hear the fan running. Now you hear the thump, thump, thump. Now the pump, the fuel pump, is starting to deliver fuel to the igniter, kind of like a glow plug. Is burning really hot in there, and as soon as it gets to temperature, then the glow plug will shut down, and it won't consume hardly any 12-volt power at all. But to start it up, it takes a bit of amperage to get it going. But you can hear it winding up like a jet engine. And when it gets going, even on low, it puts out pretty hot air out of the air exhaust there. See here when the pump started up, that emblem right there, it's a little bit blurry, but that one in the middle of the screen there on the bottom, that's actually the emblem that's showing you that the pump is operating. This one here is the glow plug still on. There, the glow plug just shut off. It doesn't need the glow plug on anymore. So the fan and the turbine's actually running, and the pump is still running at full pump rate. Here, winding up like a jet engine. Very fuel efficient. They can run on low and run for about 8 to 10 hours on about a quarter tank or a third a tank of a gallon of gas, of diesel. is the slowest rate. The little pump that you hear tapping just delivers a tiny, tiny amount of fuel with each pump. It's actually lubricated by the oils in the diesel fuel. And although it's running at the lowest rate, and the fan isn't blowing as hard, the air coming out of it, even though my hand is at the same distance, is actually feels even hotter now, because the cool air coming in from the rear of the unit, the fresh air actually drawing across the fins at a slower rate, is getting quite hot. And this is where it draws the fresh air in from. So this unit would sit outside, and then you have a duct that you hook onto the front to pump the hot air into the tent, or you could pump it into a camper or whatever. And it's a pretty smart computerized unit. I'm going to go ahead and run it up so it'll have a good burn rate and burn any excess fuel that's in it out. But once I get it up to full run again, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and it'll go down into a shutdown, a cool down mode. So it'll cool down to a safe temperature before it actually shuts the fan on and goes to sleep. So this also, you can see the little Bluetooth signal up there. I'm controlling it with a remote control in my hand. So Shannon and I, even though this would be down outside of the tent on the ground by the truck, we'll be able to control it at night, turn it down or turn it up or turn it off, you know, once the tent's warm. If it gets chilly in the morning, I can click the on button, it'll start the startup mode. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off and put it in the shutdown mode. So you can see it's going into the cool down mode. It's not pumping any more fuel, but the fan will continue to run until it gets to a temperature that is safe for it to finally shut down and go to sleep. That's it.